also learned more about the environmental benefits of being vegetarian. So not wanting to harm the planet, the ecosystem, which has further solidified my desire and belief to be vegetarian.
That's good. Arnav, what do you think about it?
Yeah, there, everyone. I think I definitely have similar reasons to that. Ahimsa, nonviolence, growing up with it, as well as the environmental concerns. I'd also say that um, it feels a vegetarian diet, if you do it in the right way, is more balanced, cleaner, healthier, all of that as well. And sometimes some of the arguments I've gotten from non-vegetarian friends are that, oh, like just because you don't eat meat, like that's not going to change the world. Like you're not really impacting, the animals are still going to be killed. And my response to that is like the more people who become vegetarian, the less demand there is for non-vegetarian food, and like it, it requires like a big change requires like everyone to be involved. And that starts with the individual.
So what kind of big changes you are thinking of?
Raising awareness in ways, educating people about the benefits of vegetarian food. And yeah, I guess that's also something we can discuss today.
Yes. But do you think that only the discussion will help them until and unless they have some such kind of Jain vegetarian cafeteria or such kind of hotels? So how they could learn that what to eat and how to cook those things which we are taking in our diet?
I think one benefit is there seems to be more vegetarian and vegan options in restaurants than there were even 5-10 years ago. There are more options available. Many more restaurants are becoming fully plant-based. And there's now products like vegan substitutes for burgers or vegan substitutes for other meat products, which I think is great for helping people who may have grown up eating meat want to find an alternative. So that is, I think, one positive.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, Palak, would you like to say something?
I think the points that Ria and Arnav made are really good. Growing up with ahimsa being such a main part about our day-to-day life, everything you do is, to reduce the amount of harm you can do to other living beings, especially with, beings with more senses. The more senses you have, the more pain you feel. So, the animals also feel more pain.
Priyanka, are you following vegetarian diet?
Yes, I'm a Jain and I follow vegetarian diet, and I agree with both of them that yes, like as per Jainism, we say we should provide peace to the society, tolerance and concern for the welfare. And being Jain, so in my case, my brain has been programmed from my childhood in such a way that we should not eat non-vegetarian. And after growing up and moving to from India to US, and here also I'm experiencing when I tell people that I am Jain and I don't eat non-veg food, somewhere I get more respect in the society, and that motivates me more. This is my experience that I have faced back in India and here also. So for now, of course, because my brain has been programmed from childhood, parents, grandparents always taught not to eat non-veg. And now after coming here, this has added in my and motivated me. Yes, I am Jain. I am so respected in the society. So I should follow this message. And whatever my Jainism, my religion teaches me, I should follow it.
It is good. But some people say they start taking non-veg after coming from India here, or what is the egg, etc. So what do you think that it is necessary because of the peer pressure or the environment, or maybe you are in college or university where vegetarian diet is not available? So do you think that we should start taking such kind of non-veg things?
No, I totally disagree with this, but yes,
Mm.
I agree there are problems we face, but
Mhm,
there is always a substitute for that. So in my case, I have no, I don't think we should start having egg or whatever it is.
mhm.
We have options for that. It's tough. I agree.
Yeah, sometimes it may be that the vegetarian, what we say, hotel or vegan hotels are not nearby of your college or university. So it may create some problem for you unless you know that how to cook the vegetarian diet or vegetarian things. And
I
if you
cook
have,
myself.
if you have facility in your university or college or dormitory to cook the food, then only you can eat that thing. Otherwise, what will you do in that situation?
So, okay, the first question, yes, I have my own. So, I cook myself, but yes, sometimes we will have team dinners or team meals, whatever it is. So,
Mm-hmm.
we will have, suppose, vegetarian and non-veg options. So, if
Mm-hmm.
we have 10% will be vegetarian or 20% maximum, I'm telling vegetarian options, 80% will be non-veg options only.
Oh.
So and yeah, it is mostly non-veg options we will have. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever vegetarian food they will have, that
Mm-hmm.
is not as per, in my case, as per my taste. I don't like that because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not habitual of eating that vegetarian stuff,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they have placed. So in that case, the because as I said, brain is programmed in such a way from childhood
Yes.
that I don't have to eat non-veg. I don't have to eat egg. So
Okay.
I will just manage with cookies or whatever they have. I'll manage with that. And after going home, or I initially I used to like think, okay, I have meal in my university. I'll go there, eat there. But now I know. So on that day also, I bring my meal, and what that 10-20% food they are providing, I just take it as a taste, just to know, okay, US they have these foods or food items also. So this is the option these days I have come up with.
Good. But Ria, mm, you think about this problem, those people who are who start taking a non-veg and such kind of egg, etc. Giving reference that we need protein, that's why we have to eat these one, or because of the peer pressures, they start taking, or they don't know how to cook vegetarian food. That's why they are starting like this.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know exactly why. I'm sure everyone has different reasons for why they may choose to eat non-vegetarian. I think to some of the points you brought up, I
Mm-hmm.
think learning how to cook meals yourself is always very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
In situations like Priyanka just mentioned, if you go out with friends or to a team dinner with work colleagues, oftentimes you may not find food.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to go home and cook for yourself, and that's fine, or you have to make do with what's available with the one or two vegetarian options, and then you can go home and eat what you need. I don't think it necessarily stops you from going out and enjoying your team dinners. I think learning healthy food habits is very helpful. So learning good protein sources as vegetarians. We talked about this in an earlier session, but lentils and dal, tofu. You can even get vegan protein powders, which can help provide a lot of that added benefit and protein and make you full, but make sure that you're getting all of the nutrients. So I do think there's a lot more options now. So I can understand maybe why some of these reasons would be there 10 years ago, but I would say even now, from what I saw in my own dorm versus what I'm seeing college kids go through now, there's just way more options available, vegetarian and even vegan. So I think it's just growing. So I think that's one very strong positive.
So what are now things about it? Because the boys they don't learn easily the cooking system, so they must have some such kind of problems before them, is it?
I mean, I think everyone needs to, learn how to cook. And like, I feel like in my generation, like both genders are, kind of taking it on. Like, yeah, even though there are definitely more vegetarian and vegan options nowadays, a lot of people may not necessarily be aware. 'Cause a lot of times I see, even like sometimes comments made about, oh, why are you like if you're just eating vegetarian food, there's a perception that, oh, you're just eating salad or leaves or greens and things like that. Like that's not healthy and that's not giving you a balanced diet. And I'm someone who doesn't like salad at all, and yet I have a vegan and vegetarian full, rich, balanced diet. So like some of that education needs to be there about what can you actually make that is going to be tasty, healthy, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Palak.
So I think that it is really, really possible to have this diet just vegetarian in most places nowadays. I know personally that there's like people who do the note root vegetables too, and they go to college and they speak with the chefs or they speak with the nutritionists and they get, their diet accommodated as well. So I think if you want to do it, I think you definitely can. Sometimes I think it is sometimes I think it's perception, or sometimes I guess also peer pressure that hinders people from making this choice rather than just availability.
So yeah, nowadays you have so many options, vegetarian and vegan options. But just I want to share my experience that once I went to Germany, and there was one lady at whose home we were staying, and she was German actually, and she adopted Jainism, and she is a vegan, or you can say vegetarian. So she told me that you should stay at my home, and I'm completely vegetarian, and so I can order for you also. And she ordered some food for us. So the person who served that food, I took the chapatis, so it was looking like the rubber elastic. So thought that how people could eat such kind of vegetarian diet even if it is available. So do you think that we are having such kind of taste in
Yeah.
the options, or whatever is facility is being provided by the vegan, or what to say, vegetarian restaurant here in the USA? Or
I think cafeteria wise, like I think yes, like vegetarian food might not always taste great, but if you go to like vegan restaurants or vegetarian restaurants, those are generally pretty good in terms of taste.
Mhm.
I think like sometimes you just have to kind of deal with it in the moment and then either cook at home or find some other, avenue and to figure it out.
So yeah, how many youngsters like you, all of you, okay, are vegetarian here in USA?
Samriji, Thea, Suraj, and Ria Gandhi just joined. You can probably ask them also.
Sorry.
We have three more who joined, so we can ask them
Yeah.
also.
Okay, yeah, Samsung. Yes, you are saying we are how many? We are 10 people, no? Yes. So any other? Some I don't know the name. Samsung. It is written here, and then Dia, Ria, and Suraj. So would you like to say something why you are following vegetarian diet? One by one. Samsung.
I guess I can go.
Yes.
I'm Freya, by the way. Yeah, so my family is always like we've always been vegetarian. Like I've never known otherwise or eaten otherwise. But other than that, I feel like there should be a strong reasoning of like why I continue to be vegetarian. And for me, that's just like the thought of, first of all, the taste, or like I've not again had non-vegetarian food, but also the fact that like you kill an animal or take someone's life just to satisfy your like taste, like your hunger, that thought process doesn't really like make sense to me completely, or yeah, I just don't agree with it personally. And it's not like there are other options for satisfying my hunger. I don't need to kill someone, kill an animal or any type of being to satisfy that hunger. So that's like I think my primary reason. And then my secondary reason was like again, I've like lived like what, like 22 years by being vegetarian. I think I can continue hopefully in being that. I basically don't know any other like option.
That is good. Ria Gandhi, would you like to share something? Are you following with the vegetarian diet? Hopefully
Yes.
you are following, but you must have reason for that.
Yes, Jai Jandavan, Minji.
Mhm.
I'm also with my sister Rutu, but we have also been vegetarian our entire lives. And as Jains, I think it's very important to follow that, and just realizing and knowing that being non-vegetarian means killing lives just for your own pleasure, or however you see your enjoyment. Sorry, one second.
So yeah, that's good. Suraj Dugad, would you like Suraj Dugad? I think she is from Delhi. Suraj Dugad is from where? Okay. So Samsung, it is done, I think. Okay. So I think all are committed for vegetarian diet, and all of you are very much clear that why we are following vegetarian diet. And since we are following Jain religion, and the central principle of Jainism in practical life is non-violence. Clear? So and Jainism is a way of living. It is not just a kind of a religion which is having rituals only, but it is really a way of living. And why we are following what we say vegetarian diet, it is clear to all of you. I want to say that Lord Mahavir has said that there are three main components of religion, especially of Jain religion. And among the three, the first one is non-violence. Clear? So since we are follower of Jain religion, and this is the first and foremost condition to be a Jain, that their life must be completely non-violent. If possible for each and everybody, then it is preferred. But we know that the householders cannot be completely non-violent in the sense that they have their own business, they have their own job, they have their families. So whatever is required, they have to manage all those things for their family and for their own basic needs. So, but how they can be non-violent in their life? So Mahavir has given the vow of Anuvrat, okay, for the householders, that okay, you cannot avoid all kinds of violences, but you can restrict yourself at least to vegetarian diet instead of going to kill some other higher species. Clear? And as Ria has said that if somebody has more senses, then they feel more pain. Either Arnav has said or Ria said. So it is true that those living beings who are having more senses, they feel more pain. In the Jain scriptures, it is said that if somebody is having mind, then he feels more pain in comparison to other living beings, those who are not having mind. Okay, so they are not able to think about why they are being tortured or killed or hurted or harmed. So they cannot think, so they don't feel so much pain in that comparison, in the comparison of the people who are having mind. So, and they, whenever they some pain is inflicted on them, so they may have also the in their mind the feeling of revenge to the killer or to the person who is killing them. So this is what we have to see, that Jain religion is saying that non-violence is the main principle, and it is only the religion which is universal. Okay, it is always relevant in all the three times. Okay, all living beings wants to live and not to die. So we have no right to kill any living being. But since we are living the life of a social being, so we need some food. We can at least restrict our diet to the minimum violence, okay? Or whatever is required or essential for surviving, for good health. And that's why we are restricting our diet to vegetarian diet, is it? Other living beings from 2 to 5 cents, they have blood, bones, flesh, etc. in their body, and their body, that's why comes under the non-veg. Clear? While these 5 natural resources, they are natural elements, they are made of natural elements, and the natural elements are minimum requirement of all living beings. Those people who are taking non-veg, they are also eating plants. They are also taking juices. They are also taking some vegetarian diet side by side. And if suppose they are taking non-veg, they are at least they need some vegetarian or some grass or some such kind of plants for feeding the animals. And one animal is taking what we say, the grass or any plants, etc., which may be equal to 10 people who are taking a vegetarian diet. Okay, so just in one day, the animal is taking too much. So we are those people who are just taking non-veg diet. They are not just killing those higher species, but they are also killing the one-sense living beings like the plants, etc. So they are committing 2 types of violence together. So here, the main point is that how much we can be restricted in our lifestyle, how much we can reduce the violence in our day-to-day life, in our dietary habits even. And this is also a very, what is a famous slogan, as you eat, you become. What you eat, you become. So what kind of food you are taking, that also affects your mind, that also affects your consciousness. And those people, though people are looking very educated, very, what we say, civilized from outside, but those people who are taking vegetarian diet, whenever the what we say situation comes before them, they sometimes become so brutal. We cannot expect such kind of brutality from the vegetarian people. Okay, there may be some exceptional, but we can't say about all the common people who are taking vegetarian diet. Vegetarian diet is also very good for health because it is required for our body. And it is said that the human body is not structured like the wild animals. So we don't need actually those non-veg diets for us. So far as protein, etc., these reasons are given by some people. I met one girl. She was, she's, okay, she might be working at some place, and she is in her college time, she was having some physical health issue. The doctor suggested her to take fish, and she started. So I said that how it is possible for a Jain person? We cannot eat any living being who is looking like the fully developed living being like that. Okay. So, but she said that because of the protein, I was suggested and I started. So this kind of reasons cannot be given. See, the protein is not is only found in the non-veg diet. It is not the point. There are vegetarian diets and many grains. which are having good protein. According to, say, in Rajasthan, bajra is taken too much. So bajra is having very good quality protein in it. And there are certain other things also, so which are having such kind of contents, ingredients, or you can say elements. So this is the what Jain people have been practicing vegetarian diet for centuries. No, our ancestors, predecessors, they are having such kind of vegetarian diet. They had no such problem. And sometimes I see that those people who are taking vegetarian diet, they are having very much wrinkles in old age, while the vegetarian people are not having such kind of problems. So far as in India we see. So here we can say that vegetarian diet is a least restricted diet for us. We can say that that is the essential for our health, for our survival. But non-veg diet is not so essential. So we have to be very much clear that how we can be more non-violent in our action, in our behavior, and also from health point of view. Also, we have to be very much uh, clear about the vegetarian diet, that how it is helping. Nowadays, so many videos are coming from so many doctors. Though one doctor is a Muslim, but he is always suggesting vegetarian diet, or mostly to be healthy. So that is also very good informations we are finding in on internet for about vegetarian diet, how it is useful for us, how it is healthy for us, and also it keeps our mind more alert, more fresh, and we get good insight if we take such kind of diet. In most of the religions, you will see that when they go into deeper practice of their own spiritual practices of their own religion, they also start taking vegetarian diet. Okay, though it is it may be Muslims or it may be other people. When they want to go to higher stage of spirituality, then they also start taking vegetarian diet. And there was one interview with one actor of India, you know, Amir Khan, etc. Or other Akshay Kumar. Yeah, there was some Muslim actor. So he was asked that what do you think about vegetarian diet, because you guys are taking non-veg diet. Then he said that vegetarian diet is also good. We are thinking that vegetarian non-veg diet is required to boost our energy level, and for that we are taking those things. But how about the bull and the elephant and the horse? These are the biggest powers in, you can say, in the world, so far as the physical power, you can say. So elephant is not taking any non-veg diet, bull is not taking any non-veg diet, okay, cow is not taking any non-veg diet, and horse is also not taking. Clear? So these animals are vegetarian, and why we are and they have so much energy in their body. Nobody can face them easily. So why we are practicing such kind of things? We have to think of it. So you can see just the argument given by the Muslim actor that yes, we should also start thinking about it. That why we need. And maybe in some certain conditions when there was no other things were available, and that's why people have started taking all those things. But nowadays, because after COVID, we have so much facility of vegan diet or vegetarian diet, and there are so many Indian grocery. Sometimes I wonder that in India, we don't find such kind of a vegan or vegetarian pure hotels, but here it is available. Okay. So yes, there are so many options. We can make excuse for any other reasons, but it is not necessary for us to take a non-veg diet. That is not healthy also. And I have also participated in some of the international conferences in which the doctors himself of the West, especially, they are saying that people are getting problem of cancer, etc. It is because of the non-veg diet. So our diet is not healthy. So they themselves are thinking about these things, that this is because from so many years they have been in such kind of practice, and that's why it is not easy sometimes to come out of those traditional or family or cultural habits. But yes, now it is the time to change. So we Jains must have proud that we have been following such kind of good cultures, good values, and also very healthy diet. So we should always be committed to that, and we should spread these messages to our own other Jain friends and what we say peers, so that they should also think of committing to be strict to their own religious and spiritual practices. This vegetarian diet is also good for health and also for spiritual upliftment. So this is what I wanted to say. And yeah, if anybody has any question regarding anything, just I wanted to know that why you people are following this vegetarian diet, and if you have some good reasons already clear in your mind, then it is good. Otherwise, I could say something, whatever I had in my mind. And yeah, just we can say that there are certain types of diets which have been prescribed even in the Ayurveda. And there is also said that there are three types of diet. One is Rajasic, one is Tamasic, and other one is Sattvic. So under the Sattvic diet, the Ayurveda also suggests that your diet should be based on the plants, especially or grains, but you should not take any kind of non-veg if you want to remain healthy. And Rajasic is also, you should also avoid as much as possible. And under the Rajasic, all the spicy things come, or the heavy diets in which we are taking too much ghee, etc. But nowadays, people are not taking here so much ghee, because in India, there is still tradition to put so much ghee in the particular food or in particular things. But here people are not taking that much, because nowadays we are not doing so much physical work, and we don't require that much calorie also. So we have to be balanced in our own diets, whatever we are taking. So with this, I would like to conclude that yes, you guys are very good and very clear about your own practice and own religion. And without, if we are not following, sometimes it is said that if we don't follow our own religion in our day-to-day practice, then what is the meaning of being that follower of that particular religion? And that it is the identity, you can say, of Jain religion, that Jains are vegetarian, strict vegetarian. They don't take anything non-veg in their diet. Nowadays, we are listening to something that the Western, what we say, food industry is thinking about the vegetarian diet, but they are saying that it is a plant-based meat. So what do you think about this kind of options? Should we start taking this thing or not? Daya, you can start.
Yeah, I've heard two things on this. I think one, the options that are fully made out of soy products. So I know there's a couple of brands like Beyond Meat, a few others. I think, in my opinion, those are perfectly fine to eat, as it's the same as having tofu. I think they're especially great alternatives for someone who may have grown up eating meat but would like to convert. I have read some articles about lab grown meat, which I think would be really interesting to talk about here. So it's essentially starting with cells or stem cells from animals and then growing them in meat. I think when I think about that, I don't know if I fully would feel as a vegetarian I should eat them, but I would love to get everyone's thoughts on that idea. I think it's an interesting concept, but I don't know if it would still be, I don't know if that still counts as being meat or vegetarian. So I'd love to get others' thoughts on that.
Any Dr. Devendra, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think two things. One is, cell-based, which means it's not really an animal, but animal mimicking protein. And of course, sometimes the other question was that if it's fake meat, it's kind of made in shape and taste of meat, but it's vegetarian. So there are two things which I a little bit need to think through how you want to manage. I think the jury's out because I suspect that when they do the cell-based, cell culture-based method, you may want to think to where the original source of the cell is, and there may be some hinsa in getting the original source because I would keep feeding the source. So I would look a little more carefully that probably is some violence going on that we wouldn't necessarily want to be part of. And also, it probably isn't necessary. Sometimes when you get these new ideas, there are commercial ventures to try and make things cheaply and in high amount. And maybe it's not necessary to jump on that bandwagon. So I'm also on the fence with that. I think probably it's not a Jain thing. I can imagine as a worldwide carbon dioxide and other benefits, maybe it will, and if it means people eat less meat, then of course we have to give credit. And I think if we can incorporate that in other meat substitutes that the other people, 90% of the world, want to eat, there may be benefits they can see from other goals, but CO2 health. But from a Jain point of view, non-violence point of view, I suspect that's probably not going to be okay. Not okay.
Can I sorry, quickly interject? I had a question also based on that. From my understanding, the animal cells are also not ekindriya jeeves. And since, our form of diet is supposed to be just, vanaspatika, just ekindriya jeeves, so one-sensed beings. So I'm not 100% sure, but I was under the assumption that cells were like animal cells were not ekindriya. So then the meat that was produced through that would also not be.
Yeah, it cannot be vegetarian. It cannot be vegetarian. So those things which are coming out of the plants, that only can be said as vegetarian. Okay. And if it is coming from the stem cells or any cells of some such 2 to 5 cents living beings, then they cannot be counted as the vegetarian diet. Okay. And second thing I want to say that I was in Miami and I was talking to doctor, and she was also Jain, and she was favoring this what we say plant-based meat. But I said that because the texture is giving of meat, it is said to be vegetarian. Instead of that, the texture is like the of meat. So how you can prefer it, or how you can approve it that it is good for even, or Jains can also take that kind of food. Okay. Do you agree? Any one of you? That we should start taking such kind of food, which is and the texture is given of meat. It is said plant-based meat. So if the name of meat is given to any food, it may be of vegetarian sources, but we cannot take that one also. And if it is having the texture of meat, then also we cannot take it. What do you think? I don't know.
I don't think I necessarily agree with that because the source is vegetarian at its core, even if you're trying to mimic meat. Personally, I don't necessarily like plant-based meat due to the taste itself. I don't feel like there's a good healthy option for that yet. But as a way to get people who eat meat off of meat and have something that's related to it that is vegetarian seems like a good option to me. And I don't think it can be called meat just because it looks like meat.
Yeah. What Priyanka would say?
I would agree that I won't consider it as a vegetarian food, and in my case, it is meat only. Reason might be Because we have good options within vegetarian diet.
Mhm.
So like since years back, we have been surviving on pulses, nuts, legumes, and everything. So personally, I would not like to switch to these what meat mimics or whatever it is. Yeah.
So anyone else? Suraj Dugar might be, she is from Delhi and she's not the youngest. But okay, Dia, would you like to say what is the your proper name? I don't know actually the pronunciation.
Yeah, it's actually Dea.
Okay. So would you like to say something?
Um, yeah, so for plant-based meat, I've actually heard this argument. Like we have this discussion a lot. And if you're like the argument was more about like if you start having plant-based meat, then you're like you start acquiring the taste or you
Yes.
start like being okay. Like there's no boundary from you to for you to transition from plant-based meat to meat. Again, I have like no judgments or whatever for like people who do have plant-based meat, that's fine. But I just heard this argument that like it kind of like loosens the boundary or like a few or a stopping point of you like now taking the next step to now having like actual meat because it tastes so similar to meat. So once you're starting to acquire the taste, like you might just start to transition. So that's just like one argument I've
Yeah,
heard.
it
or
may
reason
it may be
I've heard.
good for those who are non-vegetarian, but it is not for the vegetarian people. Okay, they may convert sometimes into non-vegetarian because of the taste. And I could not come to know how they are giving the taste, such kind of taste to the plants. How they are creating this kind of taste. What is the method of creating such kind of giving such taste to those plants? Dr. Devendra, would you clear this point? Dr. Devendra? Okay, so he is not here. So anyhow, you guys are very clear. According to Jainism, see, if we are taking a toffee and if it is given the shape of some animal, then also it is prohibited because the shape also creates such kind of things in your mind that you are eating some rabbit or you are eating some such simple sparrow or any other thing. Okay, so in my childhood, I used to see that there are certain toffees which were given the shape of the animals or birds. Clear? But that is also prohibited according to Jainism. See, if you know the story of Kalsokari, do you know? Butcher. He was butcher, or here it is said butcher. I don't know what is the right pronunciation or right language word for that. But he was a butcher and he was killing 500 around the buffaloes every day because he might have had very big industry, meat industry. So once Mahavir, the king Shreni, who will be the first Tirthankar in coming era, okay, in next, what we say, Utsarpini Kalkhand. But he went to Mahavir once and he wanted to know that what will happen after death with him. So Mahavir said that you will go to hell after death. Then he asked that what can be the solution for that. Mahavir said that if you can stop Karl Sokarik, who is the biggest butcher in your in your state, for one day even, then you can cannot could not you will not go to the hell. He said to the Karl Sokarik that you should stop killing these buffaloes at least for one day. He said that no, I cannot stop. So king punished him, and he said that this butcher must be dropped into a well, dry well, for at least for one day, so that he will not have the buffaloes before him and he will not kill them. So what he did when he was put into a well, he took the mud from the well and made buffaloes out of them. out of the mud and was killing one after, and he completed 500 buffaloes in that way. Then the king Shenik went to Mahavir. He said that, okay, I have obeyed your, I have done my solution, and I have put that butcher into well for 1 day, so he did not kill any buffalo, at least for 1 day. Mahavir said that, okay, you are thinking like this, but ask butcher what he did remaining in the well. Then he said that I have killed 500 buffaloes, making out of the mud. Mahavir said that until and unless you transform someone from within, you cannot say that he has become non-violent. So he killed all the 500 buffaloes because he is so much addictive to kill such a number of animals. So he has done, though they may not be, those buffaloes are not the real buffaloes, but since his feeling is with that mud buffaloes is was the same as he was killing with those real buffaloes. So he committed the same kind of sin. So you cannot be escaped from going to hell. You are bound to go to hell. So you can see just that those buffaloes are made out of mud. Instead of that, if somebody is killing them, then also he's committing some kind of violence. Okay. So here my point is that the things which are given shape of non-veg or animals, that should also be avoided by the Jains if they are really understanding the crux of non-violence or practice of non-violence. Here. So we have to be very much careful of all these new productions, and they look like the what we say vegetarian. Instead of that, they are not vegetarian in true sense. We should avoid because of their taste also. And if they are given such kind of shapes, then also we have to avoid. We have to be strict to our values, our culture, our dietary habits, which are really very good. And our ancestors have been following these things from centuries. They have no such problems. Why we feel that there is such problem, before us? And nowadays everything is coming online. You can order from anywhere. so many vegetarian options are available online also according to your taste. So thank you very much. Since this is the time for my pratikrama, so I cannot continue anymore. So please be joined. We will send our circulation at least 2 weeks before so that you could come to know that what topic is going to be discussed. But I would like to have such kind of good questions from your side, that you are already thinking about those things. And if you have some questions regarding such kind of things, which are controversial or maybe critical for you to decide, so we can think of those topics or those things. So thank you for joining the session and coming. Any other format of recording? Yes. Yeah, I have recorded and I will share it through the, what we say, WhatsApp group. Okay. So, Mangal Pat. Chattari Mangalam, Arhanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Punnato Dhamma Mangalam, Chattari Laguttama, Arhanta Laguttama, Siddha Laguttama, Sahu Laguttama, Kevali Punnato Dhamma Laguttamo, Arhanti Shanam Pavachami, Siddhi Shanam Pavachami, Sahu Shanam Pavachami, Kevali Punnatang Dhammang Shanam Pavachami. So it was the good format for all of you. Should we continue with this kind of format?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much. You all can suggest some new topic of discussion or new questions you can raise so that we can focus in next session on those things.
Well, Samniki, Kritab Gyoshmi, everybody, good job joining.
Perfect.
Vandamina Vasamji.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank- Yes.